Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening. Now, I don't know what time of day it is for you, but for me, it's the good time of day. And we are back at it again today. We had a good, wonderful morning this morning. We're live and we're starting it up today. And we're talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. But before we really hop into that, we're going to do that YouTube thing. I'm going to ask that if you like the comment that, or the content, comment. If you like the content that we're putting out for you, if you like what it is that we're talking about here, I'm going to ask that you do me a favor, that you hit that like, if you hit that subscribe, if you share the content, if you subscribe to this channel, we very much appreciate it. And with that being said, I want to just hop right into what it is that we're talking about today. We have some guests that are going to be joining us a little later on here, and but I guess let me just monologue this and let me just get into it. Forgive me, I'm getting my caffeine in my system after a long day. I just need more and more caffeine. I guess it's the older, or maybe I'm just addicted. I don't know which one it is, but I have this one and I have my little flat white sitting over here in a minute as well. So that being said, what are we talking about? We're talking about a subject that seems to be popping up a lot here in these YouTube streets. And it's one that deals with divestment. And if you're not familiar with that term, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. Actually, as I'm doing this, we do have people that are going to be joining us right now or joining us here shortly, but I'm also going to drop a link. Right. So there's going to be a link is there in the comments. So if you're someone who wants to hop on in and talk with us about it, feel free to utilize the link in the comment. It's also been posted on the Facebook page as well. But we're talking about divestment. And the title of this is Nightmare on Divestment Street. And there's a reason for that. Right. So why would I call this Nightmare on Divestment Street? And when we talk about divestment, we're talking about the fact that let me bring up my boy Westradamus here. Let's get him on. And we have Galia that's also in here as well. So let me I say I'm gonna bring both of you guys on. Give me a hot minute as I'm getting into this essay and talking about this. I'm not gonna bury the lead. So let's talk about what divestment is. So here recently there's been this recent move to divest black men from black women, which I feel is doing the white man's work, right? Some people say doing it the Lord's work. That's if you're there for the white man, this is doing the white man's work is what we're looking at this point. And why do I say that? Why would I say black men looking at it, you feel that you're having problems with black women, and the best thing that you can do is to leave black women. Now, if that's your choice and you find somebody out there or whatever, I'm not going to sit there and alienate you for the fact that you found somebody who's a good fit for you that's not black. Preferred that it be black. But why would I say the divestment in and of itself is something that's negative and something that is doing the white man's work? So here's why I would say that. Let's say that as things are going on, things are progressing. You get with someone, you find someone, you're a black man, and you find someone who is not black. We have a whole treasure trove of history that we can look back on what black mothers have done, specifically when they've been sexually assaulted, and have birthed children who have been of mixed race, right? Half black, half white, during slavery times and on forward, doing the Jim Crows and whatever. And one of the things that they've always talked about, or one of the things they've always alluded to, one of the things that they've always been able to tell their children, and that they've done it in no uncertain terms, is that their children, you're black. That you are a black child. You were born to a black mother. You are a black child. You have one drop of black blood. You are black. However, one of the things that there's an ancestor, Frances Cress Welsing, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she always liked to highlight one thing where she talked about that the converse is not true. If you're a black man and you married a black woman, or their mother is black, their mother is not black, rather. So you married a white woman or something that's not black, then what do they tell their kids? They tell them, you're not black. Not as you're mixed race or whatever else, but you're not black. So now you as a black man, you divested, you thinking that you're going to marry somebody who's not black, and whatever comes from you is definitely a black child, which is true, but that you're going to continue to have a strong black community in spite of the fact that the person that you're with is not black. Well, the stats and everything else showing that no, that's not the case. Not only that as they go forward, they're going to be having this confused mindset, being taught that they're not black, have this sentiment that they're not black. And on top of that, women have a tendency to live a lot longer than men do. So when you die off and you leave all your resources to your ex-wife or your baby mama or your wife or whatever, that's not going to go back to the black community. Your kids are going to grow up wanting a mother, I mean, a woman that's like their mother, who's not black. And so it's going to be a continual, perpetual degradation of the black community. And as you're going through this whole cycle, what you're going to get is the hatred of everything that is black. People coming up with these terms like good hair, and that's still being perpetuated in the black community, or the lighter the better, right? Because we're as a you continue to have this, and it's not only going to be pushed within the community as a whole, and something that we need to weed out, but the mothers are going to be pushing it. They're going to be teaching their kids that things not black are better. And that's the fundamental issue in this divestment thing, from my perspective, as a holistic term, that you're not going to be able to have a strong black community with that mindset in play. And I guess as a now that I'm trying not to stay on my soapbox too long, and I got a lot more I could say about this, but let me step to both Galia and Westradamus. Let me start with Westradamus here. I see that you're muted right now, Miss Galia, but Westradamus, do you have anything that you want to talk about with that as well?
Uh, Before, let me recognize the lady of the house, Miss Gayla. I just want to just say my admiration for you. Just from um, I think been knowing you for almost close to almost what 15, 20 years. Just want to say my admiration for you and in love for you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, I just want to publicly acknowledge you and how strong of a woman that you are, and the sacrifices that you have made. I just want to let you know, as a man to a woman, I appreciate all the sacrifices you have done in your situation, and and let you know that you have an admirer here. You really
Oh,
do.
thank you. I appreciate it. It's been rough. And honestly, raising a black man, a young black man in this society is tough. Oh, man, it's tough. And, um, and it's hard to try to keep him a strong black man when sadly, there's less and less examples for him to be um that type of man. Like, unfortunately, men are not the way that they were. Like, I hate to say my dad, but my dad's in his 70s. But that was a whole
I
different
agree.
generation of men. And and actually, just to kind of touch on what you were saying, it doesn't even make sense. So if the mother is another race and the dad is black, they have a boy, he's black. But any other way, I don't. How would even if my son were biracial, how would I tell him he's not black? I am. If I'm black, you're black. That's just kind of how that goes. And but the sad part is, a lot of people um, hide their blackness once they cross over into being in a biracial relationship. Matter of fact, I think the other day you posted, there was something posted in our group that, and
Shout it out! Shout out the group, man.
yeah, that which way is up? I was like, I was appalled because there is no way that I could see myself with a Caucasian man and I have black or mixed children and he calls me the N word. Ooh, that there is not going to work because that is disrespectful on so many levels. It's bad enough we say that amongst ourselves, but to allow that, yeah, that's a no go for me. I have a matter of fact, I have a friend. Her children are, she's black, but her kids are, three of them are half Asian. And I don't know exactly where he's from. I forget, but he would call her oldest son, which he's all black. He would, oh, that little nigger. And I said, oh my, oh my, oh my. I said, who baby? And I had to actually break away from her because of that. Because I told her, girl, I am not you, and I will beat him. That is disrespectful. And I asked her, how do you deal with him calling your child that? And then he would refer to his, and I was like, you realize that their mom is black, right? Like, it blows my mind how people try to differentiate when, well, you're this black, but you're not this black. You're this kind of black, but not this kind of black. Black is black, honestly. It is what it is. And it's tough. It's tough.
Very much so. And one of the things I was talking with Western Damas about earlier is that a lot of times when this happens, we're treating symptoms, right? So you're identifying issues within the Black community, and you're thinking, well, the answer to this issue is that if I treat this symptom by just leaving Black women or leaving Black men, that's the ultimate answer to is to divest from the Black community, is to address the issues within the Black community. And I can't express this strongly enough to say that's definitely not the case, right? That is so far from the pale of, like I said, it's one thing to sit there and if you find somebody and let's say you've been to college and you went to a PWI, predominantly white institute, and that you're there and you found somebody who wasn't Black or whatever throughout that time. Okay, I'm not going to knock you for it, whatever, however that works out. But at the same time, understanding and recognizing that is not the primary issue, and that is not addressing the core issue of what's going on in the Black community and why we're having the issues within the community. It is not Black men and Black women alone, or I guess you could say it is, but it's not just Black men and Black women or leaving Black men and Black women that's going to address it, because you're still a Black man, you're still a Black woman, and your children, regardless of whether that you like it or not, society is always going to view them as Black. Right. That is just how our society works. You can tell them all along that you're not Black, that you don't belong to the Black race, that you don't belong to the Black community, and that's just fundamentally false. And the children grow up, they're confused. They don't understand why the world doesn't confirm what it is their mother or father has told them, who of the other race. Why does the world around them doesn't confirm that? And then they go on this journey to find their Blackness after a while, right? And it happens a lot of times. And I don't know. I guess my question to you guys is, I feel it's a symptom, but how do we treat this symptom or get the symptom treated while also trying to treat the core issue? And I guess I want to start pivoting towards what we might feel the core issues might be and what some of those answers could be.
So for me, I think the core issue, and a lot of people don't seem to get this, but slavery. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was a super duper traumatic experience. I honestly believe that trauma altered their DNA in a certain way, that certain things have been passed down to us, because there's a lot of things. So I'm lighter skinned. Oh Lord, that has been something that I have struggled with my whole life, is that, oh, well, you think you're white, or oh, and I'm like, you don't even know me. And I've never thought I was white. This stuff doesn't wash off. I take a bath every day. This color has not washed off yet. And it just bewilders me. But we have to stop fighting ourselves. We have to stop looking at, oh, well, they think they're better. You don't even know that person. But that stuff, a lot of it is taught. A lot of it is a learned behavior. Because ignorance is passed down, unfortunately, just like it is with Caucasians, because there's no way that the KKK and all of them would still be in full effect if the ignorance wasn't passed down. But as Black people, the ignorance is also passed down, because I don't know how many times I've been called a house nigga. And actually a lot of people, you're just a white girl. And I'm like, I'm absolutely not. But it's my own people. And I'm like, do you not understand that hurts? Like, it was like I was never Black enough to be Black, but of course I wasn't white enough to be white. And I'm not mixed. Both of my parents are Black. So the good hair. Oh my God. I was like, I'm sorry that my hair is not like a Brillo pad. I didn't ask for this. My parents chose each other. I didn't choose them. They chose to get with each other, and I'm a product of their choices. But we have to stop the ignorance. We have to stop the ignorance and the jealousy. But again, if you back up to slavery, darker skin, you were out in the fields. So I'm sure that there was a lot of jealousy toward lighter skin, because you're not out here working and slaving like I am. And that stuff gets passed down, because then the kids see, oh, well, they see their mom and dad. They don't like the girls the women and the men that are in the house. They don't like them. Ignorance is passed down, and then it just keeps going, and it's just embedded in our minds, and we have to renew our minds. We have to retrain our minds and realize that each other, we're not the problem, but we have allowed the white man to step in to tell us that. They whisper, oh, they're the problem. And they make it known. Me being light skinned, and I've told people this, I was like, I have a light skin privilege. And they're like, what? I was like, it's not quite as privileged as white people, but to white people, I'm closer to them than I am to being black. And so they treat me different. And I've seen it. I was a waitress at one point. I made more tips than the dark skinned girl, and she worked harder than I did. Why? It's not because I was so great, because most of the time I probably wasn't, and probably wasn't very pleasant either. But hey, I'm just being honest, because I've always been very direct. So look, do you like the food? Yes, no? Is that what you wanted? Okay, cool. But they treated me differently than they did her. And that was the only, because she was polite. She was super sweet. She was polite. She was quick. She was on it. Me, I could slack and still make more money than her. And I've told people that. Matter of fact, I told a girl from New York, because New York is a mesh pot of just everybody. So I don't think color is as big of a thing there as it is in certain parts, especially the South. It's not as big of a deal. And I had to tell a girl, and me and another black girl, she was a little darker skinned, and I told her, I said, I can get things that she can't. I said, they'll hire me for a job and I'll be underqualified and she'll be more than qualified. I said, and they'll hire me first simply because I'm closer to what they're used to. And see that, and people don't get that either, that white people, they do that because, oh, well, you're closer to because again, they think I'm mixed. So it's, oh, you're closer to me. So they treat me differently. They treat me more like one of them until it's not convenient. But it makes my other black counterparts upset.
So I guess you bring up a question for me then. So if we're trying to get to the core issues here, and one of the things that you identified for us is ignorance and knowledge, or the converse of ignorance being knowledge. But how do we get the level, because in schools and among the community, we have a high level of ignorance as far as even you talk about the what I say when it comes to physical attributes, like you talk about the good hair, the brillo hat, the. And for me, I look at it, and I'm always amazed because I look at the beauty standards today, and it's thing to me that when looking at those beauty standards, a lot of women get the BBLs because they want to have full figure like a black woman. They put dead people's skin in their lips so they can have fuller lips like black women. They get their hair perm so they can rise up against gravity like black women. They want a tan so they can have darker skin like black women. And black women are steadily trying not to be themselves. How in just that one instance of the beauty standard and how it's perceived, like you're talking about among white people, I can't do anything about that among white people, but amongst ourselves, how do we change that paradigm to help get those facts out, not just the facts, but the emotions that are attached to those facts, to be able to see that black women are not only beautiful, but are valued. How do we get that around, or get that out, knowing that we have a lot of the stuff, or a lot of the ignorance that came through slavery? What do you have any recommendations or suggestions for how to address that issue?
One, we have to learn to love ourselves and stop listening to society. So I grew up in West Texas, which is predominantly white. So there were very, very few black people. I mean, literally, there were in the school system from kindergarten to 12 or 11 and a half of us, because one boy was mixed. His mom was white and his dad was black. So there were only a few of us, but we weren't considered beautiful. I remember not being told that I was attractive. I remember not feeling attractive because I didn't fit into their world. But I didn't know any different, because according to them, if you weren't paper thin.
Did I lose you, Ms. Galia?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said paper. If you weren't paper thin, and let me ask a question before you hop into the paper thin part. Mm-hmm. West Texas, is that Midland, Odessa?
Yep. Matter of fact, I live in Midland right now. Yep.
I used to be in oil and gas, so yes, I spent 10 years in oil and gas. I spent a lot of time out there in Midland, Odessa area, so yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Bless your heart. But it, and it's different out here. And for me, I'm in this, so I'm in a weird space. I'm in because like for me, again, I'm not black and I'm not dark enough to be black, but I'm not light enough to be white. And as far as body wise, I don't look like, I don't have that Coke bottle shape nowhere. I don't have the big behind and all of that and the wide hips. I don't have that. So it's like, it's a weird space, but we have to learn that we are not them and that they don't make the standard of what's beautiful. Because I'll tell anybody, black is amazing. It is gorgeous. And that's the way it should be. But we have to stop telling each other, and we have to stop telling our children that, especially females, you got to have this long, silky hair. No, you don't. No, you don't. That doesn't make you beautiful. You don't have to have this super shape. It doesn't make you beautiful. Your soul is what makes you beautiful. We've gotten away from spirituality. I'm not even going to say religion, because that religion is a whole other thing. But spirituality, what does your soul say? People are gorgeous to me because of their soul, not because of how they look on the outside. Because I've met some people that on the outside, they are amazing, but on the inside, they are rotten. But we have to learn to love ourselves and stop letting the Caucasian race set our black standard of beauty.
So I definitely agree with you on all of those points. On that's something we need to stop. So one of the things that in Nicodemus, you sent me a link to a video today. What was that one that you sent me with the meme that's been going around?
You're breaking up.
Okay.
On my end.
Okay. I apologize.
So I didn't hear nothing you said, so I do apologize.
I
do want to say I'm very fascinated by like this topic, and I'm just fascinated by it. It's just it's like one of the things where it's like deep thinking, and it's just I always think it's like an elephant in a room that people want to talk about, but they're scared to talk about and put their thoughts to it. And so I'm just very fascinated by this. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying because it's an emotional topic, and I also want to say it looks like we have Angela. She just joined the chat as well, or joined the panel here. So Angela, if you had anything that you want to add to the discussion at this time.
Wait, hold on. Let me say this about Angela. All right. I want to say this publicly about Angela, just like I said something publicly about Gayla. Angela, she is one of the most phenomenal people you'll ever meet. She's very, very intelligent, and she's a person who always strives for greatness. I think I've been knowing her for about 8 years now, and she's another phenomenal woman. Like when you talk about like one of those throwbacks, Gayla, she's like one of those throwback women, and Angela, she's another one of those throwbacks, where like, man, this is what it is, and a lot of people can learn from these two women, and when talking about this, challenge your knowledge and try to get you more knowledge, and therefore get some wisdom, and therefore you can master your understanding. Angela is that woman. I just want to say that about her. But yeah, go ahead, Angela. I just wanted to.
Wow, I appreciate that. I am working, so I'm not going to show my face on camera.
No worries. You can take off now. That's fine. Normally I just want the camera.
But admiration for you.
Yeah.
Full admiration.
I appreciate it.
What's your opinion on the topic that we're talking about today, dealing with divestment, where black men are being taught now to divest from black women divesting from black men, that addressing that symptom is the answer to the problem for the black community. What's your opinion on it?
Oh boy. we need to do some serious looking inside of one another. We have to start loving ourselves regardless. I think I was fortunate for having my mother. She always had me, even though I grew up in Barnesville, Oklahoma, a lot of Caucasian people there. But at the same token, I was always taken back home, taken back to Chicago, taken back around my people. I always taught about my grandpa, how he really didn't care for them type of folks, and love yourself, um, especially with the size. Because she's like, all women ain't supposed to be little, petite, small, none of that. So I was taught that early on. So trust me, I've been through my transition of having the perm and all that stuff. And then college, it was like, I went to Langston, I went to a black college. I seen my people loving themselves. And it's just been from that point on, the self love has really been standard for me. And I taught that to my daughter. And she's passing that on to her daughter and my son, for that matter. So we can't. I'm not down for the. I know in our group we kind of argue a lot about. Woo!
Girl, don't even go there.
You already know.
Shout out the group. Shout out the group. Shout it out.
Yeah.
Shout out the group.
But it's
yeah,
crazy but those are things that have been instilled in us.
Yes.
That we should be against each other. But why? I
don't understand it.
And and people want to blame their misfortune on everyone else. No, sweetheart.
Right.
Like the one thing women will say, all men, especially black men, ain't shit. That statement aggravates my soul. I heard my mother say that, and I thought, Mama, you realize Daddy's black, right?
Right. Did y'all forget?
But then after my parents got divorced, my mom, she dated a white guy, which he was really cool. Don't get me wrong. Loved him to death. He was a hippie and he smoked weed. I loved him. He was amazing. And then my sister, I have older sisters. I'm the baby. I have older sisters.
Yeah.
They married white men. And my mom was like, well, that's what you need to do. For a long time after I got divorced, I wouldn't date because I didn't want to hear her judgmental bull crap.
Yeah.
But my thing was, no, all black men are not crap. The ones you chose, maybe it was you. And I always wanted to say, but of course, I'd have got my teeth knocked out. But I wanted to ask you, did you ever think that you were the common denominator in all these ain't shit men? I mean, let's be real now.
Let me tell you, I have ran into so many older black women.
So angry.
And I'll be like, how are you? How is this? They be having the best men in the world and treat them wrong. And when that man finally gets tired, all of a sudden,
now he ain't shit.
He ain't shit.
Well, so let me ask this question, because this is as we're going through this and we're having this discussion. I'm trying to learn here, because I know from a male perspective on how I see things, and thank you for the panel here as well, Joe. And I'll get to you in a moment here, but I definitely want to ask this question, because a lot of times from a man perspective, I'm trying to figure out how to talk to young brothers, the converse of that. And I guess the question for you to you sisters is, how do we get the next generation? Because trying to talk to a young man who is in the bloom of youth, so to speak, right? He's feeling himself, his testosterone is pumping, and trying to tell him that just because she looks hot don't mean that she works it, right? So just it's like, don't follow the same mistakes that I've made in looking at a woman and going, oh, the value is just in the appearance. This is the woman that's going to have your kids. This is what you're going to have to deal with on a day in and day out basis. This is when you're raising your kids. This is something that, as a family wise, that you're looking at. Where is that value at? The value is not just in the appearance. And as in, if you have a series of bad women that you're with in all the relationships, the common denominator is you. How do we get that across to the next generation? Because it's like, I made those mistakes. I know other people who've made the mistakes. How do we get it across with them not going, oh, you're being a hypocrite? It's like, no, I made the mistake. I'm trying to help you out. How do we get that across?
I think for this younger generation, accountability. They don't take accountability for anything. Everything is everybody else's fault. No, sweetheart, you made that choice. So it's your fault. I can't be. Matter of fact, my ex-husband and it still to this day, this conversation bewilders me. So I've never been one to judge people on your past. Hey, we all have a past.
Right.
So he ended up going to prison for he had a possession charge and a attempt to distribute or something like that. So okay, cool. Well, and I asked him, I said, well, why were you even doing that? He was like, oh, to make money. And I was like, well, you didn't, think there was a better way. And he was like, well, nah, that was quick money. I said, okay. He said, well, if it hadn't been for the crackhead snitching, then I wouldn't have got caught. And I said, sweetheart, do you ever think that if you hadn't had crack on you, it don't matter what the crackhead would have said, you wouldn't have got caught up? To this day, he will not take responsibility for that. And that just blows my mind. I don't get it. Like, dude, at some point in your life, you have to stop and say, hold up, I'm making some jacked up decisions and I need to do better. But another thing that people take offense to bluntness now. Everybody wants everything sugar-coated. Oh, baby, don't do no, screw that. Get your behind up and do this now. Parents, honestly, and I think it has a lot to do with age. Parents are not the same as they were because them old parents, baby, you'd have got bopped up. You'd have left home with a black eye and a busted lip. Because what did you do? You said to your mama. That's all you did. You didn't even say nothing else. But these parents now, don't please stop. What? I'm raising my son a little more old school. He know I'm crazy, and I told him, baby, remember that for the rest of your life. I fight kids and all. Well, I don't play that. Your kids, my kids, our kids, they kids. It don't matter. I'm gonna treat them like they mine. But
and again, my children are grown.
The village. We're not a village anymore. Girls, y'all remember getting 3-4 whoopings for one boo-boo? You was over there and you broke Mr. Jones' window and you done got 4 whoopings before you got home. So, but we don't do that anymore. Don't touch my kids. Don't say nothing to my kids. Somebody need to say something to them because you obviously not saying enough.
They want to be a friend first. How's that all at my old man? I'm your parent. And that's one of those deals. Let me get Joe. I say you just joined the panel. I want to ask you. I say what we've been talking about with this issue of the divestment of black men from black women and black women from black men being the answer to some of the issues we're facing within the community. What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. Well, I look at it as for some reason now I just feel like that America has made us both into thinking that we're both the enemies, and that's really my main thing about it. I get on people all the time about it. I tell them, when did black men and black women become enemies? What point? When did we become against each other? And I hate to say it like this, but I'll say it. If anybody on here is a feminist, I'm just gonna tell you, I got in an argument with some folks, and I told them the feminist movement is worse than a racist movement, especially white feminists. A white feminist can turn black women against their own. Now, a racist hates all men and women, all colors. But for some reason, a white feminist can talk to a black woman and make her feel like, this black man is a savage beast. I hate to say it like that, but that's how I see it. I'm just sorry if I...
Okay.
I
want to speak on that real...
Okay, go ahead. I was going to say...
I want to touch on that too. What's going on, family?
Okay. I say before you have it, I just want to say that it's funny because it's like they white feminists have convinced black women that they were suffering the same thing, right? So it's like we want to be able to work.
We want to be able to work, and our white man won't let us do it, but and the black man aren't either.
And our sisters are like, yeah, that's right. It's like when have our sisters ever been subject to not working from slavery time to now? It's like being a part of the working class has been a part of what sisters have had to deal with, and that traditionally our sisters have wanted to deal with, but all of a sudden it's like white women have convinced our sisters that, oh, you're being treated unfair and the oppression is coming from you. It's not coming from the white man. It's coming from the black man who's been there with you working this entire time out there. So,
Can I say something on this?
but go ahead. As I let you go on that. As I said, you just want to, Angela, I know that you want to.
Okay, it was kind of mumbly.
I want to say something after this too.
Go ahead, y'all. We'll move over to Angela right afterwards. You are?
Go ahead.
Okay, Western Diamonds, what's going on? How you doing, family? Angela, everybody in the building.
Hello.
Hey, shout out to you.
So, first of all, this is a very sticky situation, and it reminds me of, respectfully, when people talk about the Jewish community. I personally was born in a Jewish hospital. My first name is Jewish. I'm from New York, so I've been around Jews, very closely. And they keep a tight-knit community. And if they feel that someone's attacking them, they won't hesitate to send you a letter to cease and desist, or, read more up on whatever you're talking about. I kind of feel like that's happening with Black women. And I mean, people, I'm not going to reference anybody. Well, actually, I will. Sister Dr. Julia Hares, Juliahare. She's a scholar and a writer. She's worked with Dick Gregory and so many other people. And I use her because a lot of people use Sister Shazar Ali. So I want to use something a little different. This sister said if Black women wanted to change the Black community tomorrow, they could do it if they felt like it. So I'm not sure what do we have to show them. I have no idea, but there is a sort of femininity amongst Black women to where their survival is primary and not the survival necessarily of the Black male as well, which is obviously their child, their grandfather, their father. And on the more younger adolescent platforms, they're very wild with it and very disrespectful, to where you have Black women that's so upset to where they say stuff like, forget the Black man, let him go extinct, I don't give a damn. And Black men who say the same thing, well, F you, I'm going to go here and there. In my opinion, I'm not throwing a finger. If she wants to fix this, we can have a conversation. If she doesn't want to fix this, she will ignore us. She will continue hustling and moving through life, and we'll never sit to the table. So that's just my opinion on it. I feel that Black women have to have that greater conversation, and then things can kind of, work itself out.
Real quick, Angela, be nice.
I think I want to not say nothing then. Okay.
Angela, yes, I know you're probably like me. You're having a thumper moment. If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
I will not say anything, but
you know what? I will say this. You have to remember, sweetheart, we are the backbone. And and you know what? And this may sound real self-centered, but Black men wouldn't be anything without us. We hold it together. We are the glue that holds it together. But this glue done got real weak lately. We ain't Gorilla Glue. We more like Elmer's glue now. But baby, because you got to think about it. Grandma, great-grandma, Mud Deer, baby, they held it together.
So then what happened?
No, we allowed with grandma though. With grandma put up with a lot of stuff.
She did.
From grandpa.
She did. But grandpa also took care of home too. See, he wasn't out there making her look like a complete ass. Yes.
Yes, he was. No,
yes, you know what?
No. The difference
he
is
was a little more
they didn't put their business in the street.
There you go.
They business in the street.
My grandfather.
And the first thing your grandma would tell you is don't go out there and tell anything that happened in her house.
Ooh, baby, you bet not. But
the thing is,
but nowadays
that's all y'all do. Can I say this real quick, sister? This is a fair statement to make. Black men are no worse than any Arab, Asian, white, African, or any other man. However, our women choose to air our dirty laundry out because we're not in a sovereign capacity. where we can kind of control the broadcasting. We can control a little bit of the PR. Black women know we're in a situation with our pants down, and you can embarrass us
Okay,
anytime you want. Other women don't have that option in Japan, China, Saudi Arabia.
but who's doing all these podcasts?
As of right now, this is me. I'm a black man right now. I'm doing a podcast. So let me ask.
No, I'm just asking who's doing the majority of the podcasts, speaking negatively towards sisters. Y'all making big money out there with that.
Oh, you talking about like the KSs and whatnot of the world? So
Yes.
let me ask.
Facts.
Let me ask this question because I'm not going to disagree with that at all. But I want to go back to something that you referenced earlier between you as your sisters and you guys put it out there, and you said that you guys are the backbone of the community, right? So if you're the backbone of the community, what's the level of accountability? I guess because like you said, black men wouldn't be shit without you guys. But I think that the same thing, the converse is true. But when it comes to roles and responsibilities or the ability to do certain things, I think that sisters are a lot better at being able to mobilize and to be able to galvanize within the community a lot better than we as brothers are. And I'm not, if we're talking about differences and abilities that we have within the community, and if that's the case, and if sisters, like you said, the ability to be able to hold it down, where's that level of accountability for our sisters? Because, like I said, it's easy to sit down and point at us brothers and say, "Hey, you guys are too frequently in prison." The futuring, I call it the futuring of the next generation, where you got all these the one or two brothers out there that are fathering all of these black kids out there. Where's that level of accountability where we say, okay, well, sisters, well, it's also you're telling us on what we're choosing, which I agree with. I'm not going to shrink back from responsibility on what we're choosing as black men, but I'm also asking, where's that level of accountability for you sisters, as opposed to blaming black men or blaming us and saying this is the reason why? Is it also on, if we're having all of these kids and you're having multiple baby daddies, that could be a situation where it might be something on how it is that we're talking to our sisters as well, on being able to sit there and say, hey, the choices that we're making are also going towards the degradation of the black community as well. Is that a fair assessment, or am I off rocker here?
Here, let me say this.
Just smoke for you, Andrew. Go ahead, Western Dobbs.
I know it's for the ladies, but I just want to just say this. Like the responsible ones and the ones that are doing their business, they're not all out there. They're not putting out videos. They're out there handling their business, and most of them are married, so therefore they're handling their families. So the ones that we really are talking about is just a segment, and we just need to segment those out, and you probably need to start questioning those that are part of that segment about what's missing and what's missing.
But those are the ones that are highlighted. That's
exactly.
They're glorified for their ignorance.
Yes.
It makes me sick to my stomach because I do not like, I don't like being a stereotype. Okay, yes, I'm black. No, I cannot twerk. My rhythm is decent, but I don't have a baby daddy. I have an ex-husband. We were married. I have one child. I don't have multiple children but those were my choices. And the sad part is they make me feel bad because those were my choices. Like, I should have been out here with 5 baby daddies and talking like this and have my whole did. Stop that shit. That is today. Embarrassing. I'm like, oh my God. And you know what? And talking about airing out business. So I will say this, part of what, so with the whole feminist act, see, you have to understand that with that, there were a lot of responsibilities that we put on black men that we never should have. One, you keep going to prison. Why? Because you're trying to please her ungrateful ass. Because you're out there hustling, busting your ass to try to make more money for her, because her sorry ass don't want to work because she thinks she has this white people idea that I should just sit at home and work. Grandma ain't never sit at home. Mama wasn't at home. Where did that's that BS idea that they keep getting from society. But black men, to be able to compete in the white man's world, we can't do it legally. You have to do some stuff that may be a little bit shady Well, hell, they do a lot of shit that's shady. They just have the money to cover it up.
I mean,
That's the
extra
difference.
shady.
And
Girl, we don't talk about that.
and the system is geared for them different than it's geared for us, right? So as black people in general, they can do shady stuff and they get away with it. As a matter of fact, they're allotted for the shady stuff what they do. We do shady
But
stuff.
here,
Like, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize, Angela. Go ahead. Give me that. I told you I was going to wait for you to give me the smoke. Let me shut up and let you give me that smoke.
the thing is, there are some black women out there that's head to head with saying fuck. Excuse my mouth, Lord. I forgot where I was. Anyway, f that white man. I'm gonna make this money for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where I run into a problem, because me and my husband had my late husband had a discussion about that. Don't you ever in your life think that I feel like I'm better than you because I'm out here hustling trying to get this money legally?
Mm-hmm.
And that's that big argument with black men and black women. Because I'm out here trying to make this money legally because we already know they got it out for my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to put you in jail for some shit.
That's another thing that they pit us
So
against.
there should not be a fight.
Financial
with
money.
The financial fight should not be with that black man and that black woman, even if that black woman is making more money. I'm not disrespecting you making more money. We just take care of the family. I didn't have no choice. My husband got sick.
If we together, it's us. This
It's
is for us.
This ain't no.
But see,
honey,
you also have to understand sometimes how that man was raised. Now, if there wasn't a strong black male figure in his life, he was raised by his mother, who I'm sure worked a lot. So grandma kept him, and grandma soft.
well, not with him. He had grandma, grandpa, he had mom and dad. He had everybody in the family. So
he was blessed. But
yes,
everyone's
so
not.
that mentality for him to have that is when he wanted to stretch out,
do some extra stuff.
He went to leave Mississippi where the family was and go to Chicago and hang out with the gangbangers. Yeah, let's get real. I want to go hang out with the gangbangers.
But
and
they
see how
glorify
that
that mess too.
Yes,
they make it look
and
good.
that needs to stop.
It does.
Pimping and hoeing is glorified. I ain't never understood it.
Girl, being a side chick now is the thing to do, and I'm like, that what you want to do?
Like for real?
You cool to be number 2, 3, 4? Ooh.
But if you look,
3, 4, 10.
No respect for themselves, because there ain't no way.
Go ahead, Joe.
Now, she's right about that. When she talking about going from Mississippi, because my dad went from Arkansas to Chicago, so I don't know what's wrong with the southern Chicago. But
man,
but
I'm in the earth.
Boy, it's something I don't know what was wrong with these cats, and he went up there to become a thug too. But
yes,
but
what is going on?
But the thing is, but my father. And this is why I say this. This is where you can tell the difference between men that had men in the house. My father every morning, since I was a child, woke up 4 a.m. It was gone to work by 5 o'clock every day. He taught me to do that. He taught me how to take care of my family. Now, I've never had no problem with a woman making more than me. See, I don't have a problem with that because I work. And you should be proud of working. And a lot of people say things. This used to get me mad because people say, well, why didn't you go to college and woo? Well, like you said, I was in love with a woman, and instead of going to college, I decided to work. I had to make money quick. So I had to go to the military and stuff. So it's something I didn't want to do. So you do things, and we don't understand that. We do things for women, because for some reason somebody done told somebody in their ear that, to me, this is the kicker. The dope dealer, the gangbanger, they always got the women. The L7s didn't get nothing. So it was like
that's facts.
So it's like, okay, so if I'm not shooting a gun out a window or selling a pound, then I'm not nothing. But now when you up in your, I hate to say it, when you up in your 40s and stuff, and you wore down. Now you want this good boy. Now you want the good guy. Well,
Well, I mean, y'all get limp, and then y'all want the good woman.
Well,
Y'all done been hold. You hold on now. Y'all done been hoes all your little male life in your 20s, and
hey,
then and when y'all want to chill and get
now,
married, I
understand
mean,
that.
it comes on both sides. We
That's
both have done that.
I was married early.
I would say, but that's not the good boys, right? So the good boys aren't getting it. And it's funny when I watch a lot of, like, you watch a lot of guys who start to get the women at a later date, or even the guys who become drug dealers. We read up on like Freeway Rick Ross. A lot of times, or you look at a young boy and it has a why he started doing or stealing cars or chopping shop or doing drugs was because that was what has a getting women, and it was about for him. And a lot of the guys, when you start listening to them, they do things in order. You see a little boy who's always dirty, and all of a sudden now he done cleaned up. Why? Because he realized that women like it. So that the young girls like it. So the point I'm making here with this is this: a lot of things that young men do, especially when it starts going left, they do it because they're trying to impress women. Right? The core issue: you go for the sports team. Yeah, you like playing sports, but you want to be on the varsity team because that's where the women are at. Right? You say all the things that you're doing it as a young man because there's an influence or a power that women have, and you guys alluded to it. And this is one of those things where I say, and the importance to me, and this is what I guess why my accountability for you sisters is because there's a high importance within the community for the power that you women have. Our sisters have a lot of power within our community on what drives us as men, right? To get up and go out to go work every day to make sure I can provide for my family, to get up and go out every day to go do whatever it is you're doing because you know that your family the woman is enamored with whatever that is. And like you mentioned, the backbone of the community, when you guys express pleasure in certain things, you'll notice that a lot of guys all of a sudden they want to start doing whatever that thing is because of the power that our sisters have. And you guys are also the ones that bring up the kids. If everything's working the way it's supposed to, like you said, there's a lot of influence I have from my dad. But in the early years, that influence was more from my mom than my dad. And there's a lot of power. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of level, or why I like to hold our sisters to a level of accountability right now, because there's a lot that we are with us as men that we have within the family. And I think we do have a lot that we do in the family and a lot within the family that we do. But the main crux of it, for me at least, is that there's a power that our sisters have, that women have over men, and an influence that I guess I don't want that you guys embrace it when you feel like it's what it feels like to me, and I could be completely honest, Angela, but I feel like you embrace it when you feel like, and then when it's like it's not, then you back off of it. And there's a whole that you guys have for us that I go, okay, well, there's an accountability that needs to be there. You guys have a lot of authority, a lot of power within the family, and I want to see it exercised a different way, I guess is where I'm getting at with that.
Okay.
Give me that smoke,
We got power. We got power in the family, but the thing is, everybody has their place. Everybody has their role. If that woman is left alone
I agree.
by herself, she's stressed. She's getting stretched too thin. So she really don't have time to be accountable both for her damn self and her children, not the whole world, in which we are anyway. But I'm just saying, it gets to a point where you just stretch too thin, and you just tired.
Yeah.
Just absolutely exhausted.
Well,
okay. Do you believe that? Okay. I heard that. Now, let me ask you, ladies, this question: do you believe that sometimes that maybe mothers should also, maybe it should be joint custody with some men? You know, it shouldn't be always on you. Why don't you let the man take care of the kids?
Put the emphasis on something.
Well, my thing is this. Okay, sometimes you should let the man feel what you're going through. You know, I see a lot of women refuse to do joint custody. Why?
I mean,
it's a power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not always though. You know what? Sometimes, Gail, though, you see, in certain situations I've seen with a man, you know, he wants to join custody, but then I'll turn around and see him take his children to his mama. He's still not there.
But that's not.
But no. That's not daddy. No. Yes, it does. That's not
Because
daddy
you do
take
the
care.
same, but that
Dad
you do
needs
the.
to be there.
I used to work at a club, and I know a whole bunch of women that sent their kids over to their mama's house. So, and
Where mama
there's a
had to
whole bunch
watch
of
it.
grandmas out there
Yeah.
right now would tell you uh, right now at this moment probably be like, "Where your mama at? Call your mama." Because you know the truth.
They ain't seen
Grandma,
it in a week.
that's the truth. So if I send them over here,
Well, I
and
guess I'm old.
I'm
I'm
no,
old.
watch this.
I ain't them young
Okay,
girls. That
no,
ain't never been my
okay,
thing.
but okay, watch this.
Leave a
But
kid to
I'm gonna
grandma's
show you
house.
what my mama used to do me. She used to say, what you doing with that baby? I'm like, nothing. That baby, yeah, bring that baby over here. Because she didn't seem like she could.
I mean, you
But
know
I'm
what?
true.
Sometimes you
Grandmas is
can't
like
fight.
that. You can't argue with a
Yeah.
grandma. Because you know where you fit to go. I'm just fit to roll over here. Bring that baby over here. You do that. I
That's
don't leave the
facts.
baby over there forever.
Brian, ain't nobody
But at
ask
the
you.
same time, because see, I'm the kind of daddy, if the baby got a 99 fever, we going to the hospital emergency room quick. And mama be like,
Oh
why you
my
didn't get that
goodness.
baby? Well, see, she be like, why you didn't get that baby some Tylenol? Wasn't ready.
Nonsense. It's some
So
Motrin.
yeah.
But you upset that we're talking about as a next child, right? So we're not with women and out there. They create a support system for the kids, for the family, and
Yeah.
that statement that you're making because I was a single father, and actually, it's the fact that you could sit there, you can look at a lot of women out there. They would have a whole support system around them, and as a father, I didn't have it, and complaining or asking for it was viewed as being beneath me, and not really even just beneath me. It was viewed in a way that was extremely negative, and that we as men, like, oh, you just let that baby over. But if a sister would have said, hey, I need some time, leave the baby with Big Mama, it's okay. If you as a
No,
father,
it's not okay. It's not okay. We talk about them too.
Can I,
You can ask Gail.
can I say
No.
Yeah,
something?
That is
yeah,
not
I talked
okay.
about them
Can I
too.
say something?
No, we talk. Go ahead.
good, yeah.
So can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yes, good. But
Okay, so in the part of the world that I grew up in, y'all can hear me?
yes,
Uh-huh.
Can y'all hear me?
yes, you are.
Boy,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so in the part of the world that I grew up in, there were two things that I learned. That was church and that my father was no good. I'm just being honest with you. In my part of the world, I learned
Okay.
church and my father was a Rolling Stone. And I think that's typical in my opinion. What I learned about the Bible was Eve ate a fruit and Adam got in trouble for it. That's the way it was presented to me. And I just think throughout the years in our mind, the black man is fully accountable to fix a situation that he doesn't have the power to, and our women do. And I'm not sure if they think that that's not masculine of us to say that, but I mean, I don't know what we want. We say that black women are the standard of life. We can raise no higher than them. Okay, so I think that would prove the point that depending on how they want to move the needle, that's how things are going to change.
So how do you propose that we move that needle? If you're talking about the standard as a because I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to get an understanding as well as how do we move that needle.
If I was to comment on that, I would say that our women, black women, have to realize that they are the backbone or the neck that I was taught by my parents. The woman, she keeps everything together, whether it's finances, Proverbs 31. Our woman, if they want to make the decision to sit down with us home by home and say we are going to follow the pattern of the 60s, the 50s, we're going to put family first. We're going to reject any type of outside interference, whether it be the media or local government funding. We're not going to allow any of that stuff to help to stop us from fixing our own, circumstances. And I think when we say black women put up with a lot of stuff, I disagree with that. I think both of us put up with a lot of stuff. As the Bible said, it told men to continue loving your wives. I think both of us hurt each other. Um, I have three sisters. I'm the only boy. I never interfered in their relationships. But I do believe that women have a bigger role in keeping the family structured than what we really talk about. And I think those women knew that, yes, we're, you know, the mothers of this and that, but they were just like, in my opinion, every other woman who keeps the Chinese, the white, the Mexican in check. And I'm not sure if our women want to do that. Maybe they're disappointed in us. Maybe they think we're not doing enough, so they don't want to even put the effort. I would like to know why not.
So I will say this. I honestly think that we haven't, as Black women, we have a very unrealistic expectation. We expect Black men to just be this super strong, take on the world, do this, do that. But at the end of the day, he's human too. We have to allow you guys to be human. And I don't think that's always been a thing. See, so the one thing that I will say that I think a lot of Black women get really misconstrued. So with white people, because I have quite a few white friends. The way that their relationships are not the way our relationships are. So they'll marry as a business proposition. It's a business deal
Correct.
because your family has money, my family has money. So you know what? We're gonna marry y'all together so y'all can keep this money going. Our relationships were never that. Our relationships were based on love and respect. Those women, white men give their women money to shut them the hell up. So she'll go on about her way and his day can be easy. Black men were never meant to be that. We don't, that's not it. But we have this idea that, oh, well, he's supposed to take care of us like John takes care of Sally. But John and Sally, what you're not seeing is John and Sally sleep in separate bedrooms. John and Sally have partners on the outside that, of course, no one's telling about. See, John has another female. Sally has a whole nother dude. But see, when you see Sally and John together, baby, they a whole front. They are a power team. They look like
Yeah,
what
power
we.
team till after that 10 years where she can get that money.
There you go, and it
That's
should
all
run
I'ma
off on
say.
his ass. But
That's all I'ma say.
black men we were not built that way. We were taught that family was everything, community was everything. But for some reason, we got away from that, trying to live in the white man's world and be accepted in their world. We will never be accepted because we are not them. Apples don't grow on orange trees. You will not go pick an apple where an orange grows. That's not how it works. And we are apples. They're oranges. We can't keep comparing ourselves to them or even our men to them because again, but our men, okay, you can have a man that's a black man with 5 different degrees. He's got 3 doctorates, 4 masters, and he will never make what John makes with a high school diploma.
Okay, let me ask you a question though.
Mm.
Let me ask
Good.
you this. Now, I'm a little bit puzzled. I'm a little bit puzzled on something because it's not just white women. It is Mexican women, Puerto Rican women, Arab women, all types of women, Ethiopian, who seem to not have the same type of situations that we have. So it's not just a white thing. I mean, people know Mexican families, they're big families, they this, they that. They have some sort of cohesive understanding that even as they catch us as in terms of the majority, in terms of voting and population, I think if we can't come to a conclusion with black women that finances is important and wealth and all that stuff, but if we can't get together in the home and see, black men have never left black women for a political party, for any type of anything. But our women,
What?
unfortunately,
Yes,
have
we
had to
have.
fight with one another. Wait, let me finish. Y'all
Okay.
had to fight with one another not to actually side with, other entities, whether it be feminists, whether it be, political associates. Black men are not necessarily known for stepping away from black women other than maybe with another woman, but in terms of a whole separation with us and white men and the corporations versus you, that has never been the case, or us and a judicial system versus you, that has never been the case for black men. And I don't know why black women, not y'all who are not doing this, but why y'all don't address the sisters who have done that and use the systems and other feminist groups and whatnot to actually distance ourselves from basic things, from civil rights to social matters.
I'll let you speak on it first, Angela, and I want to follow up on whatever it is you're getting ready to talk about.
Oh, and I have a round robin question for everybody as well. So
Okay.
after that.
So it'll be Angela, I'll follow, and then West Dama should pop in as they give us a round robin.
Okay. Okay. My thing is, I think I'm at a different age group than y'all, and I've seen difference in what he's speaking on. I can't speak from the level of these young girls. I can't. Their whole way of thinking is not mine. I've seen sisters out there fighting for just sisters. They'll call themselves womanists before they call themselves a feminist. They believe in the power of the woman, but we still get labeled as feminists, and we're just trying to fight for women's rights. We're not going to be just blind to the fact that we have a history of black women being hurt the most by our own brothers and other sisters. I've seen too many families, too many hidden secrets where we're going to hide the president and all that type of stuff. We've seen some hurts with it that we're just, some of us are just tired. I'm not taking care of the whole family no more. I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to do it anymore. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm not going to do it. I'll try my best. If anybody wants to sit down and talk to see what we can do, if somebody young, your young woman wants to listen, I'll put it out there. But at the same token, if you want us to take that seat again and get our family together, our brothers are going to have to listen to their women. Not, if it's not in my narrative, I don't want to hear it. If it don't go with my narrative, I don't want to hear it. If it don't go with my narrative, you're a feminist. If it don't go with my narrative, oh, that's why you're gonna die single. Oh, that's why you're gonna die with the cats. Like you ain't gonna go die with your pit bulls. I'm just saying, anytime we try to speak about anything that does not fit the narrative of a lot of brothers nowadays, this is the feedback we get.
That's
You're
true.
gonna die. You're gonna die single. You're gonna die with cats. I don't like cats. I like dogs. Or I'm like, okay, but I done lived my life. I done been married. My husband passed away. So I done been through this whole rigmarole. I don't give a damn about dying single. I don't. But my thing is this. I don't like that narrative that we get. If you want us to change something, y'all have to sit down and listen to us speak for the
But
betterment
but
of the family.
that's you're we're not really. I don't think they're talking about your generation.
No.
Well, my generation is still talking.
Okay. Anybody over. Let's put it this way. Anybody over 45 and over, you already know. If you was, we're talking about this new set of
Whew.
females who's raising men to be females.
No.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about this is
My
what we're talking about.
generation still, my generation still has men that stepped away from their family, left their family, went over there, helped another woman raise her family.
Okay.
My generation have been through a lot of stuff too.
Okay, but yeah, but it's not like this.
But
See,
the men
if
need
this
to come back
generation here
home.
accept, because at this generation here, let's keep it real. It's 100. Sad women don't give a care about the family. See that right now you can have two women, no one cares at all. They really don't care. That's the
Well,
thing.
honey, all
And
these
then
men
these
that's
and
preaching
Don, see, you
polymorph
blaming the
and
men.
polygamy.
You
No,
blaming the
I said
men.
that I'm not blaming the men, but
But
let's not act like men and women are not the problem. It's not just the woman,
well, no, if the woman, because women lays
because you
down,
just said
women,
women are
women
raising these men.
be to be the, okay. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. What man wants his son to walk around in tight jeans and blouses?
Oh, I hope
As
none.
Now, watch
as
this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this.
Hey,
Now,
as
but
hold
when
on.
we
As
do, when
wait a
no,
minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
but,
As
but
Magic Johnson. As Magic Johnson.
Dwayne.
now
As
watch this.
Dwayne Wade.
Okay, exactly. Watch
Ask
this.
him.
Watch this.
They ain't got good sense.
Now I'm fit to hit you with this. Now,
Okay.
when men, real men, complain about that, we get jumped on and we get talked about.
Let them be themselves.
Yeah. You know, y'all, this ain't the
The
olden
thing
days.
is,
Woo,
if
woo,
you
woo.
are
That's the
you gonna
problem.
help or you just complaining? If
No,
you're not
the thing is,
helping, if
cause
you're
see,
not trying to step in to be a father
I
figure,
would no, I tell you like I raised, I got a son and a daughter, and I always tell
uh-huh.
somebody, I raising a beast with the boy. He knows how I feel about that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna hide
Okay.
nothing. Now the problem is this: you have a bunch of females out there, young girls now that comes from y'all raising them that sits up there and they
Oh my
like
God.
they like that. Oh, he look good in that tight jeans. Oh, they like that. Oh, okay. You got a bunch of young girls now that dressing their sons like them, taking pictures. You dressing him like he your boyfriend. That's what
Where
the
they
thing
daddy?
is.
Where they daddy? Where they daddy?
That's the problem. Because though I'm sure you where the daddy is. They won't let them have the daddy wants them. The daddy want to raise them, but they don't want the daddy
I
around
don't want
them.
to hear. You want
They
to
don't
raise
want
your
the daddy
Can I,
kids.
around.
can
They
You
I
want
add
to
don't
to
be in
that?
them
no, come on.
children's lives.
Okay.
No.
The first thing y'all do
So
is go
you,
to the court where the white judge will tell you that your man ain't no good. Why he's no good? Why he's
but
no
you
good?
still
He's
trying to
never went to
blame
jail
women for this.
because this
You gotta do.
who runs it
No, it's
all?
not all of us.
Who runs
No,
it?
baby.
Yes, it
No, you
does.
have to
Because
blame some absent fathers too.
if
If a man
after
want to
father,
be, hold on. If a man wants to be in his children's life,
no, he can't.
I don't care if he's not with that woman. No. Yes.
No.
Because
Can
you
I
can
add
go to
something?
court.
The judicial system says different.
I'm
No, it doesn't.
Y'all run
Can I
y'all tell to the
No, it
judge, and then
doesn't.
okay,
can I say something?
hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 minute. Go ahead, Jeff.
Go
Would you
ahead.
finish up, Angela and Jeff?
okay. The judicial system says different because what this is your problem is now you have this
It's my
child that,
problem.
the man wants the kid, but you run to this white judge, and all of a sudden he was good enough for you to sleep with all this time, but as
Mm-mm.
soon as he hit the court system, he ain't no worthily good to nobody. He can't keep this kid. And I need this much money for this kid. I need this much money for a kid. If a daddy say right now, if a man say in court right now, I tell you what, Your Honor, I'll take the baby. I don't want no child support for her. How many women would take that deal?
And I've seen real men do that
That's a
and get their children.
well. That's a. I'm gonna come back to that in a moment. ER, what were you getting ready to say? Because I want to reply as well. But ER,
Um, well, I wanted to say with the
I think we just lost you. ER, are you still there? Am I the only one not able to hear him?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
don't hear me either.
I don't hear him either.
Okay, so as whenever you get ready to come back in, I'm a feeling I don't know as a not sure exactly.
black woman share is we've always felt that we're the man and you can't blame her, period. Even I think Adam took that approach. There's no need to blame her because of this. Now, let me say this. Now, in terms of black women being hurt, I scratch my head and I wonder where did we go wrong because black men are at least 10 to 3 incarcerated, filling out death certificates, black on black crime. We're in the morgue. We're filling out, again, the tombstones, the caskets. We're taking up all of those statistics. Hands down, platinum, that's what we do. We die. So, again, when black women say that you're so hurt and you're so mistreated, and we have more ropes around our neck, our manhood was taken in a lot of ways more than
black women. So again, to say
Oh my God.
we're the most hurt, I just can't get in my mind how you guys can't see how broken we've been from all angles of the system. And again, it's still like, we the black women, we had the house down, and we did this. And don't forget, Grandpa was out there with them hogs. Grandpa was out there shooting away at those people trying to come in and do us harm. And Granddaddy was getting us to church too. And we just sort of like dismissed him and elected a new version of the black man, and it's all his fault. And we don't look at what our grandfathers have done. They stayed married. They taught us to respect women. That narrative is sort of lost.
It's been lost for a while because Grandpa also had 3 or 4 families. I'm not gonna give y'all this innocence like black women haven't been through it either. You gotta realize it's not us against each other. And that's what y'all keep saying. Like, the black man has more of this, the black man has more of that. It's more women's fault for this and that. No. This has been a struggle for both black men and women. Period.
Well, from my perspective, and I'm going to give you both the legal aspect of it, because I do mediation. I'm a certified mediator here in the state of Texas after I got out of law school, and I deal with family mediation on a regular basis. And I can give you some anecdotal from my own personal life in regards to how these things have been playing out. And one of the reasons why I really want to talk about this subject of the divestment, because there's a lot of hurt and a lot of pain on both the black man and the black woman side, and trying to how we can get together and talk about these issues that have been there. Like you're talking about, there's been a lot of, I'm going to push back a little bit on what you said, because I can name quite a few black men that have left the black family. And a lot of those are the ones that, something that Gayla, you highlighted, that's what's held up for us. So the only reason I can put it out there is because these are the examples that are held out for us. So when you look at popular couples, that's been one of the hallmarks of them, is that they'll leave the family. Either the black woman or the black man within that family structure will leave it. But but the issue that I have, especially when we're talking about the court system, is that we've monetized kids is one thing that we've done, and we've put a price tag on the kid. And many women will and when I watch them, they want the kid, they're fighting for it, until they realize, in some rare occasions where they're not going to get the kid, then all of a sudden it's like they don't get the kid. That means they're not getting a child support from them. And I'll watch them bounce. And I've seen it time and time again, whereas the primary reason on why we fight for kids is that we've monetized children, and we put men and we put women and we pitted them against each other in the court system. That is a zero-sum game, that the kids are no longer just kids, they're monetized, and the attorney will tell their client, well, there's no domestic violence. Well, too bad. If you were looking for a disproportionate share of the marital estate, now all of a sudden we got to figure out a way on how we're going to get DV in there, so that we can figure out how to get the black man out of there, so that we can pull in more finances to be funded for the 18 years of the kids alive, or the kids in the house, not alive, that the kids in the home, that we're going to be funded because we monetize the children is one thing. The other aspect of it is, when you're looking at it, is that we've monetized it in a way where for women, it's a cash and prizes event when you're in the marriage. And like Gayla, you mentioned it initially, where you said that for the white people, they get into it and it's a business venture for them. And you mentioned it as well, Angela, where it's like after the 10 years, that's where they get the cash and prizes, and that's when they terminate that contract in order to get it. And I'm trying to figure out, where us as black people, how can we get to the point we don't try and follow that same paradigm? Because we're following down that same paradigm, and our circumstances, A, are not the same, and B, I love black people, and I don't want us going down that same road where we're destroying the black community, and which essentially is, if you're destroying the black family, you're destroying the black community, because we're trying to follow that same paradigm, and because we're fighting with each other, and we're going, oh, we're monetizing kids. What's in we always talk about the best interest of the child. What's in the child's best interest? Have a father and a mother. We know that. We know that empirically. Why are we fighting to keep a child away from the father when we know that the child's best interest is with the father? And I notice that's a lot more. And if I'm being fair, most men don't try to keep if they get custody, they're not fighting to keep the child away from the mother. 9 times out of 10, you'll find a mother will fight to keep the children away from the father. And I'm saying this as someone who's in the family court system, where you're wondering why it is that you're mad at the father, He's still a good father. Maybe you guys don't get along, but he's still a good father. Why are we fighting to keep children away from their fathers? And normally, there's outliers. I can probably name. I can only think of maybe no two. I can think of two off the top of my head where there was a father who was fighting to keep a mother away from the child, and one of them was a white guy. As I'm thinking about it. But normally, if it's one that's fighting for their kids to keep them away from the father, it's normally the mothers that are doing that. And I'm trying to figure out, and this is why I talk about the influence that our sisters have within the family, the power that our sisters have within the family. And I love my sisters, and I love our community. I love our families. If I
May
want
I ask a question?
go ahead.
Now, I was raised in New York and places like Flatbush and Jamaica, Queens, and there were lots of, different communities that made up our diverse state, from Puerto Ricans to Haitians, Jamaicans, etc. And if you look at these other communities, they actually grew up with us. Again, now I live in Texas. This is Mexico City. If you're from California, you've grown up with Mexicans, all kinds of stuff, Salvadorians, Brazilian people in the Americas. We can't think of any things that these other nationalities are going through with their men and women because they don't put it out the way our women are allowed to put our stuff out on Front Street. And I'm wondering why that's never addressed, that Black women can get on any channel, any platform, whether it's Lifetime, the Democratic Party, feminist movements, and air out how Black men, and I know personally because I lived in Dubai for years, Arab men don't have a great reputation with the women publicly, in some cases, Indonesia and things like that, how the women can't do this, they can't do that. But they never get to air it out like that. In China, the same thing is there. Women are oppressed to a degree in Africa, but our women are the only one that is giving a free pass to actually air our laundry out, and we'll never fix anything if that continues to air the Black man out. Like, if we don't both have
So
faults.
is the Black man fixing his stuff? Are we working on the brother fixing his stuff so things won't have to be aired out?
I think so.
Because I've seen it personally from a lot of brothers that are doing a damn good job of doing their thing and trying to get their family together and all that. But at the same token, Black women been hiding secrets for a long time. I mean, a long time. We have a lot of predators. Yes, on predators in the family, domestic abuse in the family. We have hid things a long time.
That's crazy.
Okay.
What's crazy? I mean, it happens.
I'm not denying.
Until movies like Color Purple,
Well,
I didn't even know they had lesbian mess going on back in the day. I did not know that at all.
okay, so let me ask you this question, because I'm not going to sit there and it doesn't happen like that. I'm in the family court system so that it doesn't happen. If you're involved with a man that because this is a question I always have when I'm dealing with these cases. If you're involved with somebody that has an issue with, has a sexual predators within the family, why are you bringing those type of people around your kids? That's always the question I always have. And why are you because a lot of times the way I see it, and it's not so this is going to be anecdotal, I guess I'll have to go back and look at other people and talk to other people's data. But many of the times when I see it, it's that it's the step parent that you brought in there. Why are you bringing this individual that's a sexual predator around your kids? Why is this what you're selecting? I guess is a question. And do I really want to ask that question right now? You know what? Instead of me asking that question, we do. Westradamus, you had a round robin question for us. Where's that round robin question that you want to give to us?
Yes. I just want to say I'm very fascinated by these conversations, and I think this is much needed. I'd like to see Gayla come back because I want you to answer this question too, because I'm about to stir the pot just a little bit more. And
did she leave me?
I think she did.
Yeah, she left. She left. Yeah, hopefully she comes back. But I just wanted to shout out to Joe. I never had this is my first time being on here with you. Shout out to ER, SB as always, and Angela as always.
Yeah.
All right. So this is my question. So, what do you think of the Kevin Samuels effect on our community?
Oh, good God.
And
I'm not
I
answering
yield the
that.
floor.
I'm not
No, no,
answering.
no,
I'm not
no, 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 no,
answering.
no, no.
Okay.
Answer the question.
No,
Answer the
I'm not.
question. Thank you,
I will
ma'am.
not.
I'll
I will
start.
not be the first.
Yeah, I say if you don't want to be the first, so let me start off. And what I'm going to say about the Kevin Samuels effect is this: I'm glad that there is the Kevin Samuels effect because it does open up the discussion, and I think these are conversations that we need to have, whether or not we agree with all of the points that he's making. Obviously, if I'm talking about divestment, and I don't think divestment is a good thing, and it's something that he agrees with. Obviously, I don't agree with him on divestment. I think that you're doing the white man's bidding in that regards. But however, by asking those questions and putting those issues out there, I think it's important for us because I think that one of the things that we haven't been doing as a community, specifically for black men and black women, have been talking to one another. And I think having that discussion or having those talks and being able to as a not just air dirty laundry, but to actually try and see if we can get to a point where we can have some kind of consensus on how do we mend the fences that we're seeing. And looking at things like divestment or Western Diamond, she showed me that deal with the TikTok craze that I'm like you, the visceral reaction it made me sick to my stomach. I say so. Yeah, I say so. So that's one of those. Is like I think, but I think that that's important that we have that Kevin Samuels effect in having the discussions. I like. Do I agree with everything? Obviously not, but I think that it's important to have those discussions. And I'm going to pass it on. Angela, do you want to hop in yet, or do you want to pass it out to Joe first? All right, well, Joe, since you can.
Yeah, go ahead,
Well,
Joe.
okay. I think that Kevin he brings reality to it. You know, is he a little bit harsher to some of the things he say? Is he rude about it? Yes. But is is he lying? No. You know, yeah, for real. I always say, Kevin Samuels
Mm.
is going to tell the truth because honest to God, women want a man making six figures, but
What women?
is she a six figure woman? That's the thing.
Ain't nobody asked y'all for six figures. We
Now,
just
see,
want you to
not true.
work.
Well, see,
Wait, let the brother finish.
I'm
that's not,
sorry.
but
I
that's not
apologize.
true. See, that's this new age. See, you seen struggle where you are, where your generation, you saw the struggle, you saw the cotton. I mean, I was gonna say so,
I
but
ain't that old now. Go down.
but you saw that. But this new generation, somebody done put it in their head that they're six figure women, and like Cam Newton said, they can't cook. They don't even know how to fix. Right now, if you ask them to go fix some dressing, they couldn't tell you nothing. They wouldn't know how to start. See, so Kevin Samuel's not wrong with none of, he's not wrong. He's a little bit harsh how he say it, but if
Some things he's absolutely wrong.
you
But
know,
go ahead,
but I always, you know,
Let me just say this real quick on Kevin. Kevin
oh.
inspires me because I'm tired of this black men of today who
Oh.
act like they can't put on a suit. They act like getting a degree or a GED or a diploma is bad. And I think that's one of our issues to where, again, if we deal on a professional level with our personal issues and use education, that's somewhat of a wimp. So you have, again, this younger community of people who are, rappers and entertainment people trying to have this discussion, making things worse. And this man is reminds me of my father, grandfather. He seems that he really wants to help. And I think he figured something out that black women truly are the
hey,
ones. If he can get to, the marriage rate will go back up, the families will stay together,
let,
the crazy glue will be put back in. So that's why he's going to talk to the sisters a little bit more.
let me get Angela mad real quick. Whatever happened to the two places the black women belong?
Boy.
The kitchen and the bed.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm not gonna do this with y'all. I'm not gonna do this with y'all. I'm not gonna do it with y'all.
I think once they left the kitchen and the bedroom, they lost
Woo! their mind. Okay, listen to me. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put some. Y'all get on my nerves. Anyway, I'm gonna put some responsibility on some of you brothers for women like Cardi B, who actually has a husband, which is crazy. She's the type of woman that I see a lot of Kevin Samuel followers say that she's not the wife material, but the hoes, the bad bitches, them are the ones nowadays that are getting married. They can't cook, ain't gonna clean up nothing, and just out here living their best life, quote unquote. These are the men. Here's the problem: when you choose that type of woman, what are you expecting from her? You wanted that trophy? Deal with the trophy brings. When you want a treasure, come holler at me. But as long as you want that trophy type of woman, what are you complaining for? You knew she couldn't cook. She can't make no damn greens. She can't make no oxtail. She can't make none of that. Do not complain when that's what you're choosing. You choose because he's telling these men to choose the young, but he's telling these men to choose these younger girls who have no cooking skills.
Your generation of women caused that because y'all didn't.
I ain't caused nothing.
Yes, it is. Y'all
was so
baby,
busy no, honey,
going to bingo and stuff instead of teaching them girls how to cook.
First of all, my daughter is 28 and she cooks damn well. So you got me messed up, bruh. No. My daughter knows how to cook, so you got me messed up.
She married.
I am not. Will never.
She married.
No.
See, all she got to do is make a plate, and there it is.
Shut up.
I'm from the South. That's how you got to do, make a plate.
You know what? She actually told me, and I didn't like this. Me and her had a discussion about marriage, and she actually said, "Mama, I don't want to get married. The men I see nowadays, no."
Well, let me ask that question then, because it's like we started off with talking about the sisters being single mothers and being the only ones in the home and being tired is one of the things that raised it. So if you raise the men that we have now, that like you said, the men nowadays, where's the level of accountability on those type of men?
What type of man? I have a son. He don't have no children. He doesn't have any children. He ain't got no baby mama strung out everywhere.
Okay, so not talking specifically. I'm talking.
Yeah.
Because you weren't a single mother. You're not a baby mama. You, like you said, you were married to your husband. I'm not talking specifically to you.
I was a single mother who got married.
Okay,
that's what that was. Yes, I have no shame in my shit at all. Trust me. But
the question,
no shame whatsoever.
The question is like, so where is that level of
accountability? I say, Joe. Hey, Joe, you loving Angela, ain't you? yeah. You love Angela. I told you. You gotta love Angela, right?
Yeah,
come on, you gotta love her.
Old school. I like that.
SB, you love her, don't you?
Old school, right there.
Everybody in them comments. I know you gotta love her.
Yeah. I always love Angela. That's a God.
Yeah, my thing is, I take accountability for mine. My kids, myself, and my husband, we was together. Passed away in 2014. Whew. When I'm telling you, that was a booger bear. But I loved him. Don't get me wrong. But that was my husband. But that's the thing. I don't. These new men and women, young men and young women today, I don't. The whole Kevin Samuel thing, I just think personally he's bringing a bigger division amongst us. I understand where y'all coming from as far as people starting to ask questions, because usually in his conversations, whether it's he's talking to a young man or a young woman, if it doesn't fit his narrative, he shuts them down. He don't want the feedback when they try to answer a question. And it doesn't matter if it's a male or a woman. I don't like that at all.
I hear that. So here's my question then, because we're talking about accountability, and this is where I keep coming back to on this
Mhm.
thing that I like the fact that there's the discussion, and I,
Yeah.
as a, right now we're having a discussion, and it's and whether, like I said, whether he has a however he phrases it, the fact that right
Mhm.
we're having that discussion, we're talking about choices, we're talking about accountability within the community, right? So like
Yeah.
the type of woman that a man picks as a why are you picking, like you said, why are you picking it? So she a baddie. What else can she do? Can she do anything in the kitchen? And then you're looking at the men that the women are picking. And say, why are you selecting these men? And I guess the accountability level comes in and I'm in that generation. So for me, there's an accountability level on the fact that the generation that's here now, I had a hand in raising, right? So I
Okay.
was a single father. I was married. Old lady, she got tired and she was like, I said, I'm not happy anymore. Didn't matter the fact that I'm still providing. Didn't matter that I'm an oil and gas. I'm an IT project. None of that mattered for her. She wasn't happy, and she left me with the kids. And she got up and she just left. Literally, once she realized that she
Yeah.
didn't as a what she was looking for in a divorce, she literally pulled up stakes and she left. She left on out of the country. And so I could say from that standpoint, and this is anecdotal. I know that because I'm in the family court system, I know that I'm an outlier in that sense. That's not always how that works. But
Right.
now having that discussion where you're looking at it and you're trying to figure out how do we get out of this bullshit that we're in, right? For lack of a better term, it's like
Yeah.
we're still. Kevin Samuels has started that conversation, and like him or hate him, the conversation is because of him that we're having that conversation right now. Because for a long time, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm in the family law system, I would have thought, like, oh my goodness, all women are like this. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to realize, okay, this is what I say. This is
Ouch.
say again. I'm sorry. You said ouch.
No. Yeah. Well, I hit my knee on the desk.
Oh,
But go ahead. Don't you start.
oh
Don't you
Lord, she
start.
in her knee trying to go sleep.
I know.
Well,
Anyway, I'm listening
I'm
while
not.
y'all trying to be funny over here.
No, I do have a hard stop at 9:45, but I want to make I wanted to make that part clear. So for you, I guess you saying that you don't even like the conversation. Is that am I understanding that correctly, Angela?
Yes, absolutely. I don't like it at all.
So
I don't like it.
why shouldn't we have the conversation? I guess is my
No, no,
question.
no. We, as respectable adults, can have a conversation because we're letting each other talk. His conversation is just a little bit different. The certain stuff he just puts out there is like, Nick won't just say this. Like, what? I can't. I cannot deal. Like if you dating after 5 p.m. You got to give up some sex. Are you really saying stuff like that? Yes, he is. So that type of stuff, no, that is not the go-to person that I would go to for any advice for anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But do you think the conversation is still worth having though? The things that, like I say, because now you're talking about after 5. Now we can ask the question because he brought it up. Why do you feel that that's not the way to go, right? And this is a conversation that we're able to have because of certain subjects that he's bringing up. Like again, I go back to the like it or hate it. If he's bringing stuff up that we can talk about, like the divestment thing that we're talking about right now, he's a fan of divestment. I'll be honest with you, that's doing for him, and that is a horrible place. I expressed it at the beginning of it. I'll express it now, and I think that divestment of black men from black women, or vice versa, black women from black men, is a horrible direction to go in, and it's just further degrading the community, the black community. But we're having a discussion because he brought it up. I can sit there and say like, oh, okay, well, why am I having this discussion? Well, it's something that he brought up, and we're having that discussion now because of it.
Can
And
I
so,
add something to that?
go ahead.
Now,
There you go.
my numbers
Okay.
might be a little outdated, but more than 82% of black women are Christian. More than probably, I want to say, no, let me finish my point. More
I
than
am.
maybe 85% of black women, when they go to college, they take up psychology. From what I gathered, the way Kevin Samuels is that he knows that black women, as soon as they step on his platform, it's almost a culture thing that they're going to start with psychology. This man ain't having it. And that's what I mean about other black men need to learn from this and stop looking at educated black men and looking down on persons who may want to step in with a suit, show up on time, or literally do the work to do the statistics. And, even have black women saying, yo, the guy's right. So you can, and that's what we need to do as black men again, start using that Reagan mentality. Let's go to the other side of black women and get them to chastise each other. Because that's what helps us the most is when black women come out and say, you know what, these men are not lying. And it's enough of them to where other black women have to sit down and now talk because other black women are outnumbering them now with us.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna say to you. We don't need Kevin. We don't need black men telling us that other black women need to chastise us because guess what? Sherzad Ali been around here for a long time and been preaching a lot of stuff. Women need to get on to women. But while you're complaining, are you working on the brothers? That's my whole thing. When you want to complain about us, are you working on yourself? Are you working on
From day
yourself?
one.
And there's no 85% of psychology. Oh my goodness. I know so many black women that are going for nursing. I know a lot of black women that are going for business administration. I don't know who these people this man finds to come on his show. I just see a different world of stuff.
Okay.
Period. I just don't see his statistics being just on point. Everything's on point because of what he said. No.
Now look
I
at the
don't
women
see
that
it.
come on his show. They don't realize the statistics of what they are. That's why they say the bogus numbers that they say. Because none of us, and I'm not saying just them, us either. Some of us didn't know what the numbers were in terms of the marketplace, and when you get a
He
certain
don't know
age,
what the
how you
number is.
devalue.
He puts a number out there that makes us look bad.
Well, let me
Because
do.
that's not the case.
Okay. Well, let's do this essay because like I said, I do have that hard stop at 9:45.
Yeah.
Let's do it as a let's give everybody some closing remarks. And let's start off. I want to start off with Westradamus. If you can give us some what do you want to close with before getting on out of here? And we're going to go from you to Angela to ER to Joe. And I'm just going in the order of what I'm looking at on the screen right now.
Yeah, it's all good. I just want to just give a shout out to everybody for this wonderful conversation. Joe, ER, SB, Gayla, and the star of the show, of course, is Miss Angela over there.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh no, you did not. Okay.
You're the star. No, you're the only person. No, you and Gayla were holding your ground. Speaking your points, and that has to be commended. Because of some people don't have that outlet to and you are that person. You can be that avatar for that person, and you represent so many people, and I just wanted to just thank you. Thanks for coming on. I just wanted to just say to everybody, if nobody told you that they love you, say, hey, I love you. Hey, and always remember the cream always rise to the top. Keep on trying hard, and and always look yourself in the mirror and try to get 1% better every day. So therefore, we can all build a stronger community and a stronger world. And peace and light. And I'm out.
Thank you very much. Westradamus, everybody.
Oh my God.
Miss Angela, do you have anything to take us out?
What? All I want to say, I appreciate the conversation, and I appreciate everybody's viewpoints. Even this man over here calling me old. Yeah, you. Don't worry about it. We shall chat again. But
I can't wait.
yes, anytime we do this again, I will say this: we gonna have to work on loving each other more and looking out for each other more. Okay, that's it.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I say, ER, on to you. You got anything to take us out with today?
First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody on the platform. Everything that everybody said was Very good points. Westradamus, always have some very, very good points. Appreciate that. I thank you for letting me get on this platform. I agree with what Angela said. We just gotta actually, at the end of the day, step into this thing looking for a solution. Period.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, we are, everybody. Every Republican there. That's it. And Joe, take us out of here.
Well, I want to thank y'all for inviting me and for having me and for giving me a good laugh today. And I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna find all these. I'm gonna try to see these 3 families that these old men done had since Miss Angela talked about that.
My grandfather's passed on. He's passed on right now, but he had a baby.
I want to find the book to see how lucky he was to be able to do that. But I just
I'll let you call my dad if you need to.
Oh, see, hey, but I just want to say, this is where it starts, when we can laugh with each other.
Yeah.
When we can laugh and we can listen to each other. No matter what, I hear what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can take that to my community and I can talk to young men and I can see what side she's talking about. And I can say, hey, we need to change up this attitude. We need to fight to be in the house more. So that's, I understand. I kid with her, but I understand where she was coming from, because like you said, if you want to lead, then you need to start leading.
Yes,
and that's the point. You can't expect a woman to follow you if you ain't built to lead. And that's what we need to teach our young men.
That was a mouthful.
Thank you. So
you're welcome.
Don't take that. We coming back. Don't dis.
You guys.
I'll be back. Don't worry.
Hey, real quick. Hey, we have a Facebook group. Which way is up? Hey, y'all join, subscribe, join, see all the craziness in there. I know Angela's a member of it. She's a founding member of Which Way Is Up. I'm a founding member of Which Way Is Up. SB's in there. Joe, you in Which Way Is Up as well? Yeah, Joe's in Which Way Is Up. Please come join us, and so therefore we can actually continue this conversation. I love it. Back on you, SB.
No worries. I say, and if I haven't told you before, I love you. Hoping that you guys having a great day. Had a great day. I said we're on the tail end of it, and I also want to extend out to Gayla. Thank you very much. I know you're not here at the tail end with us right now, but thank you for coming up. You're, as I like everyone else, you're always welcome up on this panel, and may you always, always, always have peace in your life. And with that, we are out. Good night, everybody. All right. Thank you guys very much. Let's see. There we